We welcome you back to our channel, Entrepreneurs and Business Owners. Today, we continue discussing the three-part series, 12 standard forms by which a business owner can offer value in a market. In today's episode, we will focus on subscription, resale, lease, agency, and audience aggregation. It is important to remind you that this series aims to help you find your product niche and determine the market or industry you can best perform as a new entrepreneur. It will gladden our hearts if you like this content on the platform you are listening to or watching us, and subscribe and follow us for more insightful content around business development and financial excellence. All right, let's continue. Form of value number 4, subscription. A subscription program provides predefined benefits on an ongoing basis in exchange for a recurring fee. The actual benefits provided can be tangible or intangible. The key differences are A, the expectation of additional value to be provided in the future, and B, that fees will be collected until the subscription is canceled. In order to create a successful subscription, you must 1. Provide significant value to each subscriber on a regular basis. 2. Build a subscriber base and continually attract new subscribers to compensate for attrition. 3. Build customers on a recurring basis. 4. Retain each subscriber as long as possible. Cable or satellite television service is a great example of a subscription. After you sign up, the company will continue to provide television service as long as you make the payments. You don't have to call up the company every month to buy another 30 days worth. The service continues as long as the invoice is paid. Subscription is an attractive form of value because it provides more predictable revenue. Instead of having to resell to your existing customers every day, subscriptions allow you to build a steady base of loyal customers over time. This model ensures a certain level of revenue coming in each billing period. The key to subscription offers is doing everything you can to keep customer attrition as low as possible. As long as you continue to make your customers happy, only a small percentage of your customer base will cancel each period, giving you the ability to plan your finances with more certainty. Any subscriber attrition you experience can be overcome by enrolling more customers. Form of value number 5, resale. Buy low, sell high. Stock traders maxim. Resale is the acquisition of an asset from a wholesale seller, followed by the sale of that asset to a retail buyer at a higher price. Resale is how most of the retailers you're familiar with work. They purchase what they sell from other businesses, then resell each purchase for more than it costs. In order to provide value as a reseller, you must 1. Purchase a product as inexpensively as possible, usually in bulk. 2. Keep the product in good condition until sale. Damaged goods can't be sold. 3. Find potential purchasers of the product as quickly as possible to keep inventory costs low. 4. Sell the product for as high a markup as possible, preferably a multiple of the purchase price. Resellers are valuable because they help wholesalers sell products without having to find individual purchasers. To a farmer, selling apples to millions of individuals would be time-intensive and inefficient. It's far better to sell them all to a grocery chain and focus on growing more apples. The grocery then takes the apples into inventory and sells them to individual consumers at a higher price. Major retailers like Walmart and Tesco book retailers like Barnes & Noble, and catalog operations like Land's End work in fundamentally the same way. Purchase products at low prices directly from manufacturers, then sell them for a higher price as quickly as possible. Sourcing good products at low prices and managing inventory levels are the keys to reselling. Without a steady supply of sellable products at a low enough price to turn a profit, a reseller will have a hard time bringing in enough revenue to keep going. Accordingly, most successful resellers establish close relationships with the businesses that supply their stock to ensure they continue to get a reliable supply of good assets at low prices. Form of value number 6, lease. The human species, according to the best theory I can form of it, is composed of 2 distinct races, the men who borrow and the men who lend. Charles Lamb, essayist. A lease involves acquiring an asset, followed by allowing another person to use that asset for a predefined amount of time in exchange for a fee. The asset can be pretty much anything: cars, boats, houses. As long as an asset is durable enough to survive rental to another person and return ready for reuse, you can lease it. In order to provide value via a lease, you must 1. Acquire an asset people want to use. 2. Lease the asset to a paying customer on favorable terms. 3. Protect yourself from unexpected or adverse events, including the loss or damage of the leased asset. Leasing benefits the customer by allowing the use of an asset for less than the outright purchase price. You may not be able to afford to spend tens of thousands of dollars to purchase a luxury car or a speedboat, but for a few $100s a month, you can certainly lease or rent one. The same principle applies to housing. Leasing makes it possible to live in an expensive building for much less than it would cost to purchase or build it yourself. After your lease is up, the asset can be leased by the owner to someone else. To successfully provide value via leases, you must ensure that the revenue from the lease covers the purchase price of the asset before it wears out or is lost. Most assets have a limited useful life, so you must charge enough to bring in more revenue than the purchase price before the asset loses its value. In addition, be sure to plan for repair and replacement costs to ensure you're charging enough money to cover you in the event your asset is lost or damaged in use. Form of value number 7, agency. Agency involves the marketing and sale of an asset you don't own. Instead of producing value by yourself, you team up with someone else who has value to offer, then work to find a purchaser. In exchange for establishing a new relationship between your source and a buyer, you earn a commission or fee. In order to provide value via agency, you must 1. Find a seller who has a valuable asset. 2. Establish contact and trust with potential buyers of that asset. 3. Negotiate until an agreement is reached on the terms of sale. 4. Collect the agreed-upon fee or commission from the seller. Sellers benefit from an agency relationship because it generates sales that might not otherwise happen. Literary agents are a classic example. A potential author may have an idea for a book, but may not know anyone in publishing. By working with an agent who has pre-existing connections in the publishing industry, it's far more likely the author will land a publishing contract. In exchange for finding a publisher and negotiating the deal, the agent gets a percentage of the book's advance and royalties. Buyers also benefit from an agency relationship. Good agents can help them find great assets to purchase. Agents often act as a filter for buyers, who trust that the agent will bring their attention to assets worth purchasing and keep them away from bad deals. Residential real estate is a great example. Working with an experienced buyer's agent who knows the area often makes purchasing a home in a new town much easier. The key to agency is to ensure that your fee or commission is high enough to make the effort worth it. Since most agency relationships are dependent upon closing a sale, spend your time on activities that will result in a completed transaction. And ensure that the commission or fee from that transaction compensates you for the time and effort you put into closing the deal. Form of value number 8, audience aggregation. So long as there's a jingle in your head, television isn't free. Jason Love, marketing executive. Audience aggregation revolves around collecting the attention of a group of people with similar characteristics, then selling access to that audience to a third party. Since attention is limited and valuable, gathering a group of people in a certain demographic is quite valuable to businesses or groups that are interested in getting the attention of those people. In order to provide value via audience aggregation, you must 1. Identify a group of people with common characteristics or interests. 2. Create and maintain some way of consistently attracting that group's attention. 3. Find third parties who are interested in buying the attention of that audience. 4. Sell access to that audience without alienating the audience itself. Audience aggregation benefits the audience because it provides something worthy of their attention. Magazines and advertising-supported websites are great examples. Readers benefit from the information and entertainment these sources provide in exchange for being exposed to some level of advertising. If the advertising becomes obnoxious, they'll leave, but most people are willing to be exposed to a certain amount of advertising if the content is good. Audience aggregation benefits the advertiser because it gets attention, which leads to sales. Think of a conference or trade show. Buying a booth in the center of a building full of people interested in what you have to offer can be a smart decision. Done well, advertising attracts attention, attention brings prospects, and prospects leads to sales. As long as the sales bring in more money than the cost of the advertising plus the business's overhead, the advertising can be a valuable tool to bring in new customers. Which means the advertiser can continue to support the aggregator by purchasing more advertising. Thank you for your time. We hope that you were able to learn something from this episode. Join us in the next one, and you should check out our previous contents. Kindly subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so, like this episode and comment on the form of value that most resonates with you. See you in the next one.